Good morning. It appears that I have connection. It appears that we're live. Good morning. How is everybody? Just doing a few things real fast. I had an extra speaker turned on. Sorry. And it appears we have a dumpling in the screen. I have my coffee this morning. I know that it's a little bit early. Go away. I've got stuff popping up on my screen. Sorry. I know that it's just a little bit early, but I was feeling kind of inspired to get started and wanted to talk to you guys this morning. I have a few housekeeping issues to do, and then we can get into some layouts. I have a couple of hours before my husband stops for lunch. I like to stop and have lunch with him when he gets a moment. So that may happen, it may not happen. I may just keep playing. We'll see how this works. So, okay, a couple of the first housekeeping items. I went through because Close to My Heart is about to have a color change. They announced that 8 of their colors are retiring. And let me see if I have that information really quickly. Let me see, I think I kept it. Yes. Okay, the colors that are retiring are Julep, Eggplant, Gold Rush, Pixie, Ruby, Sweet Leaf, Saffron, and Thistle. And then, of course, Julep is the color of the year, so we knew that was going to be retiring. So what I did is that is what prompted the paper organization that I started, because as a consultant, I would have to shift product every year, out with the old, in with the new. And I would have to physically move all of my retired cardstock out of my stock, basically. And I could use it for personal scrapbooking, but I couldn't use it to teach or to film videos or anything like that. I was not allowed to demo anything that was retired. So it took a couple of years to get that out of my mindset. It's been about a year and a half. Yeah, it's been about a year, and it hasn't quite been 2 years since I stopped being a consultant. And it took a little bit of time for me to get out of that mindset of this is retired versus this is current, so I'm not allowed to play with these items. So when the retired list came out this time, I kind of went to myself and went, self, why are you separating all of your product? You don't have to anymore. So I went and found all of my cardstock. I had some cardstock in the other room, in the game room. I had some, the current cardstock on my racks. I had some of the like chocolate and cocoa and those colors that have been long gone. I had those hoarded somewhere else. And I was like, okay, I'm being stupid. So I went ahead and mixed all of my cardstocks. That's the racks in the back. Made them in rainbow order. So if it's on the rack, that's what I have. There's some colors on there that only have 1 or 2 sheets. And I marked the tags retired if it was a retired color, so I knew if I pulled and that was the last sheet, I couldn't order any more of that. It was just gone. So I marked my tags, put an R on it if it was retired, and some of those colors only have 1, 2, maybe 3 sheets of paper in them, including the one that's in the sleeve as my cover. But at least now I have a good feel for what cardstock I have. The other thing that I do, and I've always done this ever since I started stitching, is I make a DMC list of all of the current colors. Let me move this out of the way. This is a separate thing I want to talk about. And what I've done in the past is I've just had past years of this is where the current colors were that year. This is where the current colors were that year. And I've just built on this every year and just kept a copy of it on my computer. And anybody that wanted a copy, I could send it to them really quickly, or if I was at a crop, I keep a copy of it in my thread bin so they could take a picture of it really quickly. But this year I decided that, again, I was being silly. Why am I separating all of my retired color versus my current color? And there are some, like Pink Carnation and Blossom, as far as DMC are concerned, those are the same color thread. Same thing with the Lemonade Lemon and Sunny Yellow. those are the same colors. So I needed to have a master list of DMC versus Close to My Heart color. And that's basically what I went through. I did spent the other morning, put on some music, grabbed my cup of coffee, printed off all of my lists. This is the handwritten. This is my handwritten copy of just pulling it all together. And then I just made a master. Now, I'm missing cotton candy. I cannot remember the DMC number for cotton candy. I still have that cardstock. I still have that ink pad. I don't have, I still have the DMC thread, but I neglected to write down the number for that one. So I'm still looking for that one. And then I realized I had an error over here, so I'm still working through it. But when the new colors come, I can take this list with me to the hobby store. And I don't know if the picture-in-picture is bugging you guys, the placement. I'm trying to figure out how to get it on the other side of the screen because the picture-in-picture is bugging me where it is because I tend to work on the right side of the table. So if the picture-in-picture gets in your way, I've got to figure out how to get that moved because I like to work on this side and my picture-in-picture is on this side too. So, tangent. So anyway, I'm going to take this master list with me to the hobby store and go down. The highlighted ones are the colors that I currently have in my stock. And the non-highlighted are past colors that I no longer have any of those. So if it's non-highlighted and a color matches with the new stuff, then I can go ahead and purchase new DMC thread. If it's highlighted and it matches, say a new color that they come out with matches Vineyard Berry, well then I know I don't have any Vineyard Berry. That one's not highlighted. But a new color might match the old Cranberry. Okay, I still have Cranberry thread, so I'm good there. I don't need to buy anymore. So that's what that is. The other thing that I did is I have not purchased very many scrapbooking supplies lately. If you saw the, sorry, these are just some vellum sheets I wanted to take with me to not forget. If you saw my retreat packing video yesterday, you will see that the crate of paper that I'm taking, of patterned paper, that is all of my, I've got a delay back here, I've got to move this over. That is all of my pattern paper, that's all that I own. So I haven't really purchased any new scrapbooking supplies other than an odd paper pack here or there from Close to My Heart. This is my supply book that I have from Close to My Heart. Well, not from Close to My Heart. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. But what I do is I go through, this is how I budget. I go through my catalog. Hi guys, what are you doing? You sound like thunder. Yeah, when you go running through. Keep going. Thank you. I go through my catalogs. Okay, in January 2019, this is what I wanted to order. This is what it came out to be. And this is just a really good, not only list of how to budget, say you only have $60 a month you can spend, then you know when you hit $60 worth of product, you have to stop. I started this because as a consultant, I needed a bound book showing the product that I purchased for teaching for tax reasons. And then this just became a very simple way for me to not only plan what I wanted to order through the life of the catalogs and stay within budget for myself, but it also, oh, I did go to retreat in January, okay. But it also was a good way for me to go back and look, hey, did I really order this product? Did I not order this product? Do I need to order this product? So I have a list for the crop that I'm going to coming up. I need to get more Glacier re-inker, and I'm thinking of ordering another mini tray. And then if I get any hostess rewards, because I'm going to be doing all of the colors and all of the stamp pads, so there's 8 new cardstocks, 8 new stamp pads. Hopefully I'll be able to get my re-inkers as a hostess reward and any other paper pack that I want to order. So that's going to be a hefty little order. I do that about once a year. Good grief, people. Really? How am I supposed to, you know, scrapbook with kittens? Do you guys want a scrapbook? Do you have thumbs? Okay. Anyway, this is just a way that I stay in budget and keep myself organized. So I will be taking this book with me to retreat. And then I normally only would use, because I only knew of the close to my heart how-to books. And basically this is one of them, and I'll be taking this one. This is actually two of them that I found together. So volume 1 and volume 2 that I will be taking with me to retreat. And I was going to take this one and a couple of the hardback ones. You can barely see them on the bookshelf over there. But anytime Close to My Heart would come out with a new how-to book, I snatched it up. Because I love how-to books. I love that they are basically a cookbook for scrapbooking when your brain just cannot think of a new layout. You just creatively, you want to play, but your brain's not following directions. So I have used these books inside out, upside down. You know, I've turned the layouts every which way you can put them, and use them until I have just squeezed all of the tomato juice right out of them. So when I was watching some packing videos the other day, someone mentioned, and I heard this on 2 or 3 different videos, someone mentioned Scrapbook Generation. And I was like, I wonder what Scrapbook Generation is. I don't know what this is. So I looked it up, and I found a plethora. And I realize I'm late to the game, and no, this is not sponsored. None of this is sponsored. I realize I'm late to the game, but I found a plethora of sketches. And these sketches have measurements. That is the difference in my brain between Scrapbook Generation and page maps. I love page maps, but if I'm trying to create, I don't want to stop and think about measurements. I would like them to give me the bare bones, give me the measurements so that my brain can work on the other stuff. I don't want to have to stop and think about how big is that piece of paper. Okay, give me the bare bones, give me the basic structure, and then my brain can take off with the rest of it. So basically what I did, because I haven't been ordering very many scrapbooking supplies, and I had a little extra in my budget, go away, I don't want to take a survey, is I went to town buying ebooks for sketches. And I put them all on my iPad, and the goal was, or the plan was, to take my iPad and work off the iPad. But for one of the lives last week that I did, I was trying to print one sketch. And apparently technology was not my friend that day, because I ended up printing all of the sketches. And I was like, well, own it. You made a mistake. Go ahead and punch holes in them, make a makeshift book, take them with you. They're not going to take up any room. You know, they're not going to take up any more room than this guy right here. So that means I have this. I have this. I put my DMC list in it in case anybody would like a copy of it. I'm taking these 2 books, and I'm taking my iPad. And that is all of my inspiration for the entire retreat. And I'm not having to take all of my big, bulky, hardback, close to my heart books. Now, I heard a rumor that they're coming out with a new book. I don't know, because I'm not a consultant anymore, but I heard a rumor that they're coming out with a new book, and if they do, I'm first in line to buy it, because I will always, always, always buy new books. So, let me slip these back down where they go, so I don't forget that I have them and leave them at home, and then we will start playing. So I'm going to close that lid, keep the cats out of it. And today, we are still working on 2016. It appears that Dumpling's just going to join us, and as long as he minds his P's and Q's, I'm okay. So we're still working on 2016. This is the Vietnam Memorial. I went ahead and did the journaling on the vellum. And then I have a sketch. Oh, I appear to have the hiccups too. Sorry. So here are the pictures. I need 6. Okay, so I will be picking the best out of these because that's obviously too many. But there's my vertical, and I need to find 4 of the best ones of this. So we can do that. Now what I have been doing is I've been trimming down slightly my photographs so that I can mat them. And then last night I was perusing YouTube, and I found that Allison Davis, which is one of the sketch designers, was doing a series of how to take one sketch and make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sketches from, or 8 different layouts from one sketch. And I just was fascinated because I know how my brain works with it. I was fascinated with how other people's brain works and the different designs that she could come up with. So I really enjoyed it. So we've got our paper, or we've got our sketch. This is Scrapbook Generations by Debbie Sanders, the sketch is. It's sketch number 9, but I don't remember which book it's out of. So let me get my clipboard. And my book stand, and I think I can just have that sit right there. Yep, that's perfect. It's out of the cat's way. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I need a bunch of paper. Okay. And some stitching, possibly. Some strips, title. Alright, well, let's look and see what we've got. I'm going to take a magnet and hold down my journaling because it's blowing all over the place. I've got the fan on high because it's Texas and it's August and I'm hot. So I don't think we want to go playful because of the subject matter of the photos. Do I want to go vintage? Let me look at my rustic. Let me see what I've got in my rustic pack. And these, everything in my bin, if it's a collection, I have it in a collection sleeve. I have it in a record sleeve by itself, and I've got it labeled as a collection. If it's loose, this is all kinds of different close to my heart papers from their workshops that I have just worked this paper and worked this paper and worked this paper. So I tore the collection apart and just put it in by backgrounds, spring florals, summer, travel, Disney, wedding, words, vintage, animals, fall, rustic, spring, that type of thing. Just really chunky subcategories. And then if it is a collection that I'm still working with and it's still together, I put it in an envelope by itself with the name of the collection on it. So, okay. So we're just going to do a quick, that one's pretty. A quick little pass through. And not all of this is close to my heart paper. Some of it is other companies that I have found when I go to retreats and stuff. Because you can't go to a retreat and not buy paper. That's a maybe. I don't know. Ooh, maybe. Right now I'm just pulling out maybes. I don't know if it'll stick. I don't know if it won't stick. You guys are getting, I think I have. Nope, that one goes better together. Okay, how many papers do I have? 1, 2, 3. Let me put you back in there. 4 and 5. Okay, so we have that might be a good background, and then everything else play off it. Of course, I just mixed it all up. Okay, so that might be a good background, and the rest of this play off the back of it. I think I'm going to take you out, and you are that one. That. Ah. Maybe. Well, you know, we're not going to know until we start playing, so let's play. What's my colors? Peacock. You are the stripedy part, so we're going to leave you there. I think that'll work. Okay, well, let's cut some strips off. Keep those momentarily. I think there's a saddle might be a good one. Okay. These colors are reminding me, which is why I'm picking them, of what is the photo mat details, top strip. So I'm gonna do 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2.5. Let's do 2.5. So these are the colors that, why I'm picking these versus others is it's kind of reminding me, I don't know if you're a 70s kid or if you were born in the 70s, but there was a lot of avocado green, golds, browns, that kind of color. And when I'm thinking Vietnam and the pictures that come up, the sepia colored pictures you see all the time, that's what's going through my brain. Which is one of the reasons why I'm picking these color schemes. And the fact that making sure the map's not upside down. And the fact that it's manly-ish. So it's not girly. This is not going to be a flower layout. It's not, in my opinion, appropriate for it to be a flower layout. So we've got that. I think that one's going to be, that's going to be my mat. So this one is the photo, no, not the photo mat, main background 12 by 8. Yeah, that's going to work. Oh, I put my trimmer up. Why would I do that? Put that away over there. It actually goes down here. I'm just kind of doing a dry run. And then the photo mat is 8 1/4 by 6 1/4. Six and a half. Night night, pumpkin. You went to get in this box. I am going to trim these down a little bit. So there's that. And then which one of these do I want to get? I think I want to keep that one. That one. That one is blurry. That's an easy get rid of. This one. I'll keep that one. Okay. Actually, I may not trim these photos down. I may leave it be. Better break it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then they want a title. I'm going to have to trim those just a hair. They want a title. I've got my journaling. And then they want doodly dads. Okay. I'm going to trim these just a hair. There we go. There, that works. Okay. Now, to my knowledge, I do not know anybody on the wall. I don't have any family. I picked taking pictures of Wilson just because it was a familiar name. But to my knowledge, I do not know anybody on the wall. I'm pretty sure my mother may, or other members of my family, but me personally, I do not. Okay, and then the sketches right here. Okay. And it is not centered with that one. Okay. As far as embellishments, don't know. Let's see where it strikes me. I don't think I have any more embellishments that go with this collection, but I don't think that the embellishments that are supposed to be with this collection would fit with the subject matter. So I may have to just figure something out. You're making an awful lot of noise over there, little man. At some point, they've got to fall asleep because they were awake all night last night. Yes, Biscuit. Oh, wait, Shoni. Hi, you sounded like your brother. You did. You sounded like your brother. Keep walking, please. Keep walking. Thank you. So there's that. Nope. Nope. No. Stay there. Lay down. Good boy. I don't know if you can see him really. Okay, I'm gonna turn this over and put this on. If I can find the start of it. I really do not want y'all fighting on the desk today. And you really don't listen, do you? God, I'm not trying to do something over here. stop. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you get to knock it off the desk. Alrighty, now let me flip this back around. We need to find title real fast. I just thought of one. Alright, that works. Sometimes you just open it up and it's right there. The one that you need is right there. Okay, put these down. Pray the kittens don't eat them. Okay, that'll work there. So let's get my stitching bucket and see if I've got a template that will work for what I have in mind. They have just some flowy lines going across that might work for what I have in mind. And then with some wood veneers. I don't know if I have a wood veneer that will work with this. I think I need to put some down here. I don't know that I'm going to put some down there though. They have the copper down here too. This is my embellishment bin that I'm going to take with me to retreat. Be fearless. That kind of fits. And the colors kind of fit. These are a whole bunch of embellishments that I just made one day while watching a movie. Oh, great, did that one work? That one might work. The color's a little off with the papers, but it works a little bit with the photos. there's a star. And another star. The problem with dumping them all in here is I can't get them out of the bottom. There's another star. Alright, I think that's what I'm going to go with. The one that says live your best life keeps coming up, but since this is a memorial of members that have died before, that's not appropriate. I'm not going to use that one. I think I'm going to use brave, because I can't think of anything else that was more brave than going when you were 17, 18 years old. So I'm going to use this. And then let me look in here and see if there's, hey guys, that's not. Really? You think you're a big boy. You're not a big boy yet. I need one more star. I need one more star. Do I have one more star? I have hearts. Oh, I do, right there. Yay, okay. 1, 2, 3, okay. I have hearts, but they're all fuchsia. Okay. Take that back there. Just keep the cats out of it. Alright, let's look and see if there's anything in here that would be appropriate to add. Sometimes the little ephemera pack surprises you and comes up with the perfect item. Somehow I don't think It's a Beautiful Morning is going to be what I'm looking for. There's a little gray flower that might work there. No, I don't like that. Okay. So not this packet. So not that. What I see in this packet, I see a gold vellum that might work. That might work. You're a little bigger than I want. I can trim you down. That's not a problem. That might work by a title. Okay, so let me trim this one down. these away before the cats can barrel them back in. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. A little smaller. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, this is a stitching tool that I talked about in the retreat backing. It is just a wheel of needles. That's all it is a wheel of needles. It will hurt you. It has drawn blood with me before. So I picked it up in the stitching section. I have no idea what it's called. But if you buy one, be sure to keep it in some sort of container. I keep mine in this so that I can not injure myself. Now I'm keeping it in the embellishment bucket during the retreat, and not in my stitching bucket because it will damage my templates. So let me take a tiny little break. I'll be right back before I start stitching. Go get some coffee. Go potty yourself. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a moment while the cats aren't in here and just put the paper away real fast. I have a boot bucket, a lady's boot bucket that I bought from Container Store that I just keep scraps in, the larger scraps. If it's not something I could use for a photo mat, I don't keep it. If it's big enough that I can use for scrapbooking or even use as a photo mat, then I keep it. I just put it in this little bucket right here. It stays under my desk. I have a shoe rack under there that's just got various items that are quick reach for me. There is my note with how I want to title. And then the other thing we need to do is find our colors real fast. I think it may be toffee. I think it may be toffee because canary is a bit bright and saffron is way too bright. But then I also have, I don't have any browns in here. Oh, this isn't my, okay, this isn't my regular bucket, that's why. This is my overflow bucket. I think Toffee's it. I think Toffee wins. So Canary and Saffron, because it just works. So, and then if you notice, here's the list of DMC. I just keep it like this. And this is my extra thread bucket. I've got my full bucket in the retreat stuff. I figured out last year when I started using this bucket, I don't need to buy more than 3 skeins. And what I was doing before, because one skein will fit on, this is 1 skein of thread, and 1 skein will fit on each bobbin. But what I was doing before I started storing this way is I would buy 5, 6, 7 skeins of thread and have thread coming out my ears. And you just don't need that. I talked about this last time, I live 1.5 miles from 2 different craft stores. It's not like I'm not going to be able to get thread. So I need to stop the hoarding behavior with my thread. Right, so we are going to set that one over there. This wheel tool, we're not going to worry about design. We're just going to bring it all back. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to flip it over and poke the holes real fast, because it doesn't go through 2 layers of paper very well. But it will at least give me, and you can't see it at all right now, but it will at least give me a pattern of what I want to play with. Alright, I'm going to put this away real fast before one of the cats gets a hold of it. Alright, so this is going to be the tedious part for just a minute, is I need to be able to see the holes. And last time I did this, and I poked the holes backwards like this, it's just something you have to do with this needle tool. I had planned on stitching, but I liked the way it looked so much that I left it alone. And I didn't stitch. Now what I do need to do, and it's going to look stupid, is I do need to put my hair back before I start stitching so that I can see. Well, that's something good about the camera. I can see my face. So we're going to just stop for a minute and start poking. And then I also need to separate the thread. Right now it's in full 6 strand. I need to separate it down to 3 strand. So I'm just following the holes. This is a random pattern, so it's not like if you mess up you're gonna ruin the design. You're not gonna do that. And if it was just 1 layer of paper, I would not need to do this step. But the needle tool does not go through 2 layers of paper very easily. Like there's some here that I'm really having to look. Because you can't see them. But I love the random aspect of just rolling the tool. The one thing that I want to start doing this year is upping my mixed media game. I love the look. Pardon me, I've got, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I love the look of mixed media, but when I play with mixed media, it tends to look like a kindergartner got a hold of the supplies. So one of my things that I would like to do is up my mixed media game and practice with it and get better with it. Okay, let me make sure I may have stopped. Yeah, it stopped there. Okay. So now we can come over here. Because there are so many scrapbookers out there that have beautiful pages and their mixed media just looks just perfect. It looks absolutely perfect. Mine does not. But like everything else, practice makes perfect. But we also get into these little ruts of doing what we know, doing what is familiar, doing what is comfortable. For me, it's stitching. I adore stitching. For Inky and for some of the other YouTubers out there, it's mixed media. And do you mind not working on the paper? Yeah. Because you're little now, but you're not going to be little for very much longer. Yeah, I know, you're not concerned with it. The big boys aren't allowed to walk on the paper. No, they're not. He was not very snuggly at all yesterday. He was around playing and being a big boy, and today he's just like, I need to be with you. So we're just going to indulge him. And as long as he doesn't attack my paper, we're going to be okay. Now the funny part is he fits under here. I've got a shelf here. He fits under that shelf. He fits under the laptop. He likes to lay under the laptop because it gets warm. But he is growing like a weed. This is not going to last very long at all. So it'll be funny when he tries to shove himself under that shelf, because Biscuits did the same thing. Biscuits was like, this is my spot. I can lay here while you're working and I won't mess with anything. And he got too big for it and he's like, how come I don't fit? So, alright, so that's that. And if you look, it has a torn paper look. Let me see if I can get this up. Yeah, see, it has a torn paper look. The thread will hide a little bit of that, but again, with this type of layout, I kind of like the rough. I didn't do any edging on this one because I wasn't sure which way I wanted it to go, and I didn't want it to be too dirty. Does that make sense? But I think I'm going to like having the stitching with a little bit of torn paper coming through. So let's do the other one real fast. You're about to fall asleep, little man. Alright, so let me look. Okay. So I think we start over here. I may have to turn you over and find the start. I can just barely see it. Okay, let's start. And just like there's, you know, a lot of paper crafters out there that can stitch without a template, I am not one of those people. I need something to go through and poke the holes first. And once the holes are poked in a pattern, I can stitch till my heart's content. That's why I own so many stitching templates. Because from those, my creativity just pops. Yes. Yes, I know. Go through, please. No, no fighting. Go get in a box. No, go get in a box. Go lay down. Go lay down. You can lay down right there. No, you're not touching. He shouldn't be touching either. I could shut the door, but A, it gets really hot in here, and B, they would all three stand at the door and meow, and my husband is trying to work, so he is on conference calls, so I am kind of trying to keep the house quiet. What are you doing? You're going to be so long like your brother. Yes, you are. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Alright, go get in your box. So I've got Shoney over here laying down. He'll find a spot in a minute. If Biscuits comes in, we have a problem. Because I only have 2 boxes. Because I only have 2 cats. Now once I get to stitching, this is a pretty quick, let me admit yourself, a pretty quick stitch. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I tend to keep my stitching more to the edges of the layouts because it's easier to stitch on the edges than it is in the middle, especially when you're filming. What? Oh, they're playing with each other's tails. This next part that I have to do, I'm not looking forward to, with Shoney in the room. Dumpling doesn't really mess with it, but I'm not sure with Shoney what he will do. I may have to boot him out temporarily. Almost done. You're the one egging him on. Almost done. Let's see, how many got to? Alright. Let's turn that over. Okay, so before I do the next part, I have to separate this thread into 3 strands instead of 6 strands. So let me boot him out because it's thread, it's string, cats can't resist this. So let me boot Shoney out real fast, and then we'll get to working. He's also about to throw a fit. Stop. Stop. You just broke my rubber band. You little fart. You're about to get your butt booted out too. You think because you're cute you can get away with everything. Go get in your box. Okay, I have some catalogs off to the side that I need to get bound together into one year. And I just haven't wanted to go do that, so I've got them just sitting over there. And I had them rubber band together, but somebody just broke the rubber band. So what I'm doing is just pulling off a nice amount of twine or thread, DMC thread. Remember, you're going to be folding it over, so you want to start with 3 strands, and then when you fold it over the needle, it's going to go back to 6 strands. To where if you started with 6 strands, fold it over, that would be 12. Pardon me, that'd be way too much thread to go through these holes. Now, if you want to make bigger holes, I'm going to put these off because I'm going to get. If you want to make bigger holes, then you can handle the chunkier thread. And I need my tape dispenser. So, I am not found a better way of doing this. If you know of a better way of doing this, I always do it the way you know to do. But with me, I always need a third hand. Don't have one when doing this. So, why don't I just do it the way I know? Start out with dry lips. Separate it down into 3. So there's 3 and 3. Just barely put it to your lips. So this hand is holding the tension, this hand is holding the thread. Okay, I'm going to do one more set so that I can get the door open back up, and then I don't have to separate thread anymore. And then I just wind it around my finger. And this can go back on the bobbin the way it is. That's why I don't mind separating more than I think I need and just popping it back on the bobber when I'm done. So I'm going to do one more run of string, and then I can open the door back up. So I'm just doing a fair amount because you're going to be folding this over the needle, and you don't want to keep having to change thread, so I just put out a fair amount. Get off the paper, you dork. And always, there is a difference between your paper scissors and your thread scissors or fabric scissors or ribbon scissors. These are not my paper scissors. They are just for everything but paper. Also, don't have chapstick on when you're doing this because it will cause the thread to knot up when you're using it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh my nose, it just line this one up. And we'll thread the other one that's on my shoulder. So put that right there. And then we're going to thread the one that's on my shoulder. Not just my shirt. It doesn't always do that. And I'm sitting away. I'm sorry you can't see this part. I'm sitting away so the dumpling doesn't attack the thread while I'm working with it. I'll scooch back up in just a moment. And then I always just snip the ends a little bit and make them even. Now, little man, I need what you're laying on, because you're laying on it. I think I'm going to leave the door shut because he's calming down. If Shoni comes back in here, he's going to wind back up. Alright, gimme. No, I want it. You've had a chance with it. No. So just starting with the first hole. It doesn't matter where you start, just start. Now some people tie knots in the back. I use tape, it stays flat. And I'm going to just turn it over this way. Well, let's do it this way so you can see. I keep forgetting that I'm on camera. And it's just a straight run stitch. Okay, I'm going to turn it a little bit because I need to be able to see. Now, this has 2 layers of paper, so you still want to be careful. It is easier to stitch with 3 and 4 layers. You don't have to be quite so careful with the tension because you can blow through the hole. And I like to use a longer needle. It just gives me something to hang on to. But you can use whatever needle you want. There's no special paper scrapbooking needle. I just pick these ones when they have their stitching supplies on sale in the regular fabric aisle. And I was talking about last time that this is a very cheap embellishment. You can normally pick up skeins of thread for about 60 cents or hold off until they're holding a sale, and then you can get them for half off of that. And because you're separating it down into 3 strands, you're getting double the amount from your skeins. So your 60-cent embellishment just turned into a 30-cent embellishment. And if I'm doing a lot of stitching, it will normally take the entire skein. This will not. And knots are common, don't worry about it. Sometimes they come out, sometimes you have to cut them out. That's not an issue. In fact, if it's on the back side, I just stitch around it. I only worry about taking them out if they're on the front side. Except when it takes up that much thread. It's making a liar out of me. Oopsie, skipped a stitch. It's very simple to go back and back stitch and fix it. There we go. I'm tempted to cut this one section out. I've got one section of thread that doesn't want to be a good boy. You can see it right there. That one little section of thread isn't lining up well. And this is regular paper, it's not cardstock, so it's a little bit lighter than I'm used to working with too. Because I didn't back it with cardstock. There's nothing to get in trouble with, so he's going to get in his box. And I typically start with the section that is furthest away from me, and then I work myself towards myself. But the scissors are really so I start with the part that's going to be the hardest for me, and then go to the easiest. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know how clean this can look. This particular one's not going to look that way because we back poked the holes. So we made the paper look rougher on the front side. So it's not going to look as neat and precise as some of my other stitching. But that's okay. It goes with the theme of the photos. Now, if you're stitching, I always wait and do my title last because the thread can knock the stitching or the title off. It kind of acts like a dental floss and just goes right behind the adhesive and just pulls it right off. So I tend to do all of my stitching and then I do my journaling and my title and any embellishments. And if the stitching is going to be more involved, I will do the stitching before I even lay down the photos, unless I'm stitching the photo to the page, which is another thing that I like to do. Now this would be a lot faster with a sewing machine, but I do not like sewing machines. They do not like me. It's mutual, and I enjoy the hand process of stitching. To me, it's just another component of scrapbooking. With mixed media, you have to wait for the media to dry. With stitching, you just have to wait and work on the stitches. There's really no difference. And like if I'm at retreats and stuff, I can sit and talk to my neighbor while I'm doing this. And I can carry on a complete conversation with my neighbor. Or watch my iPad, listen to music, whatever. So I am going to try and film. I've never tried to film on my phone before. I'm going to try and film the retreat setup when I get there. The retreat's next Friday, so I'm going to try and film the setup. I will come home and edit it. I doubt that I upload it there. Although no, I think I'll film it on my phone and then come home and just edit it up a little bit. So when I get back from retreat, you'll see that. I've actually tried to do this a couple of times and I kept forgetting. So. And that's the other thing when I'm looking for retreat information. How do people set up? What's the different ways that people set up? It's more than just packing. It's how do you create your space? You know, how do you make that little 6 foot by 4 foot section of table yours for 1 to 4 days, depending on how long your retreat is? So. I'm actually surprised Shoney's not at the door yelling at me. These kittens do not like closed doors. They don't like being separated from their humans. Biscuits or Dumpling is asleep, so if he wakes up I'm going to have to open the door because I'm blocking him from his box, his kitty box. And I don't want to get that started. So I'm really enjoying the Scrapbook Generation sketches. They have kind of re-energized my scrapbooking. I kind of got in a rut there where I probably didn't do a lot of scrapbooking for close to a year. If you look on my channel, it was more diamond painting. So the new sketches have kind of breathed some new life into wanting to play, wanting to scrapbook. So I'm really taking advantage of that and just getting some layouts done. I have been scrapbooking since 2000 and I'm going to say 2002 because we moved into this house in 2001, and I knew about scrapbooking. The hospital that I worked at, one of the doctors was an avid scrapbooker. She would bring her stuff to the ER and scrapbook. Of course, we had just opened, so after midnight we wouldn't have any patients. It was rare. After midnight we had patients. Just poked myself. So she would do scrapbooking because she had to be awake. She had to, you know, it wasn't one of those hospitals where they could go sleep. She had to be awake, so she would bring her scrapbooking. So I knew about scrapbooking, but I don't think I really got into it until about 2002. And I just poked myself again. Knock it off. And I've always been in this room. And I have always, I would work 3 days a week. I'd work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday was a sleep day. And I would sleep family and then go back to bed. And then Thursday was my first day that I would come in the room and scrapbook. My daughter was at school, my husband was at work, and I generally had Friday and Saturdays that I could just scrapbook, and that's when I would run my business. I was, you know, close to my art consultant shortly thereafter. I started in 2002. I became a consultant in 2005, and I ended in 2019? Yeah, 2019 is when I stopped. Because it was almost my 15th year. Stopped being a consultant, not scrapbooking. I still love the products. I'm not compensated by Close to My Heart anymore. I loved the products. I still buy the products. I still use the products. But something had to come off my plate, and being a consultant is what had to come off my plate. But Thursday and Friday is when I would play, and I would just scrapbook and be very prolific. So I was not surprised when the steam just kind of left. The want to just kind of left. And it started with the death of my father. It's one of those, you know they're ill, you know it's going to happen, but when it does, it's still a shock to the system. You can't ever prepare for that, ever. And also part of it was, he lived with my sister, he collapsed at her house. Bridget and I are trained to do the same thing. We're both medically trained, we're both unit secretaries. And then with that you have some extra training in case, because I worked in small hospitals, I had to be medically trained because you never knew when you were going to be a tech, when you got called into CPR, when you got called into this, so I had a little bit of extra training. And I think she did too, because she also worked in smaller hospitals. He collapsed at her house, and then she's performing CPR. So her husband called me while she was performing CPR, and not only was she going through that, but I could hear it. And when I asked him how long they had been performing CPR, she said 10 minutes. You know. So it was just a shock. I didn't process it as badly as my sister did, but I understand why she processed it differently than I did. I didn't have to do CPR on my father. She did. But it is still a shock to your system when that happens. Losing a parent is never fun, never easy. And I think that's when scrapbooking just didn't become fun anymore. I didn't want to preserve memories for a little while. So I switched over to diamond painting, and the beauty of scrapbooking is as long as you keep your stuff organized, you keep your supplies organized and your photos organized, you can step away from it, you can come back. It's still going to be there. So I picked up diamond painting for a while, and I still love diamond painting. I'm not doing it at the moment because of Dumpling. I had a hard enough time with Biscuit when he was that big, walking across the drill tray and getting drills stuck in his paws. So I'm waiting a little bit for Dumpling. Sorry, I have the hiccups. To get a little bit bigger, and then I will alternate diamond painting and scrapbooking because I love both hobbies. They take care of a different niche. Scrapbooking takes care of my creativity, my storytelling, my memory keeping. Diamond painting is just when I need to not think about anything, but I need to move my hands. So I can listen to a book and I can just diamond paint and I can kind of empty my brain and not have to be creative, because diamond painting is really just paint by numbers on a sticky canvas. You're just taking tiny little glass drills or acrylic drills, beads for a different word, and sticking them on a sticky canvas just like paint by numbers. Super simple. Very easy to travel with. I have a kit that I travel with if I travel with my husband, that I can just be in a hotel room if I'm not editing videos and work while he's doing his thing. So they both hit different niches for me. So as soon as Dumpling gets a little bit bigger, I will start working on diamond painting again. So, but the cats don't enjoy it when you dig drills out of the bottom of their feet. So, and I like to work on larger paintings. So I also need him to be big enough to where he's not going to want to eat the canvas, because I like large. The smallest painting I will do is a 30 by 40 centimeter. I won't do anything smaller than that, and I prefer much bigger than that. So scrapbooking is my creative storytelling memory keeping outlet, and diamond painting is I just need to veg but move my hands. And a lot of people say that it helps with anxiety. I don't deal with a lot of anxiety. Every now and then, but not near what other people deal with. Mine is more, I'm a worrywart. I have to worry about everything. I have to think about, and this might be my ER training, I have to think about plan A, B, C, and D. And then once I've got the plan, once I understand the plan, then my brain just goes, we've got it, we're good. But sometimes getting to plan A, B, C, and D, my brain just goes, hey, you know, we're going to stress about this for a bit. And then once you understand what you're doing, we'll stop stressing. So it appears that I'm going to need, that I pulled the right amount of thread, because it's going to take 2 of these per page. And I have 2 left. So that's going to work out well. I have just a little trash can off to the side over here. It's just a flower vase that I stuck doggy bag into so it stays clean. Just a little purple flower vase that I kept. Works out well as a desktop trash can. So these threaders are the little threaders that come in sewing kits. They make doing this a lot easier. As you can see, I've got quite a few in there. What you don't see, let me pull this through before I lose it. What you don't see is the 1,000 of them that I have in a mason jar. I was looking for some, I was looking for like 20 or 30 of them. And I thought, well, let me try Amazon. So I pulled them up on Amazon, and they had a lot of 1,000 for $5 or $6 for some, it's just a stupid amount of money. And I was like, okay. So I ordered those probably 6 years ago. I don't have to worry about ever, you know, because they wear out. You'll pull this little wire out eventually. They're very, I mean, it's just a tiny little piece of tin with a tiny little wire just poked in there. It's not anything. You'll pull it out eventually. So that'll last me a while. Okay, let's start with this side, since we ended with this side, just to be going a different direction. My Pokey Pad is just a piece of bulletin board, cork board that I picked up from Staples. They had a pack of 4 with the adhesives that you just adhere it in a frame or on a wall or whatnot. And I picked up 2 packets, so I have 8 of these, and I use them all the time. They're not super thick. My needle will go all the way to the bottom, so I've poked. I mean, I've got little holes. You can feel them on my paper, but that's okay. This is a working room. This right here is just peel and stick wallpaper, removable. Could be contact paper, whatever you want to do. I did it because my lights glared really badly off the sheet metal. If you notice, it's magnet. So I love having the sheet metal, but when you're filming, it's not the best surface in the world. So I just put down some removable wallpaper, contact paper, whatever you want to call it. And then when it gets too cruddy or too dirty or whatever, I can just peel it up and put a new piece down. Because it's not going to hurt the sheet metal. And I did the sheet metal for A, magnet, but B, heat embossing. I don't have to worry about damaging my desk. Because if the sheet metal heats up, it's not like, you know, my desk is wood. It's not going to catch fire if I accidentally leave my heat gun in one spot too long. So, and I love having, it's kind of indestructible. You can paint on it, you can heat emboss on it. You can even regular accidentally emboss on it. Just take a little plastic scraper and it scrapes right off. It is a cutting surface. It'll scratch. It's not self-healing, but it can be a cutting surface. I do use mats if I need to do that. I've got several. I've got glass mats, I've got regular mats, I've got acrylic mats, and silicone. I've got mats coming out my ears, but for whatever job I'm using. But the sheet metal is my favorite. As you can see, you just kind of get into a rhythm and just keep going. This is the hard part, because normally when I'm filming, I edit this long part out for you. But in real time, I'm just gonna, I mean, this is real time scrapping. This is part of the creative process. Hopefully you're scrapping with me, or cleaning your scrap space, or organizing, or doing homework, or, you know, laundry. You can, heck, get your laundry done. I'll talk behind you. I'll be a friend. If you feel like you're by yourself and just need somebody to listen to, I've been there. So just have a conversation. I'm looking up every now and then. I don't see anybody in the chat. If you're in the chat and you're trying to talk to me, I can't see your comments. That's something I need to have my husband look at. So if you've been trying to communicate with me, I can't see comments. That's the one thing we've got to work on. But I also did not pre-set this live. I just got on when I felt like getting on. So if there's nobody in here, that's fine too. You can catch it on the back end when it goes to the replay. That's fine too. I'm just doing this for fun, just because. So. If Bridget is watching, which I don't know if she is, Bridget is my sister, get your Heidi in gear and listen to me, and you can be cleaning your house while we're conversing. Get your dishes done, mop your floor, get ready for that baby. You should be nesting. So. She teases me that her house can't stay clean. That she tries and tries and tries. And I just tell her to, one room at a time, one job at a time. Of course, I'm not going to lie, it helps. I have someone come in and help me clean my house. I do not clean my house on my own. My house is big. I'm not the only one that dirties it up. I'm not going to be the only one to clean it. So I do have a friend that comes in every 2 weeks and helps me. She does the things that it's hard for me to do. So she would like to do other things, and I'm like, I don't need you to do my laundry. I can do my laundry. I need you to clean the tub that I have trouble getting into, and clean the showers that every time I try to clean the showers I fall over, and you know, I need you to do the things that I can't do. I can't reach ceiling fans. She can reach ceiling fans. So I'm not going to pretend I keep my house clean by myself, because I don't. So, but I can still tease my sister and tell her she can keep her own dang house clean. And if Addie is watching, Addie should be in school right now, so you do not pay attention to Sissy Jenny. You go pay attention to your schoolwork. And we can talk later. Yeah, Addie's probably wondering where the diamond painting videos are, because she likes to watch those. And as soon as dumpling gets bigger, I will start doing those again. So. It is just very hard to diamond paint when you have a kitten, a very curious kitten. So. Yeah, you heard me say your name, didn't you? But I also like to watch lives while I'm scrapbooking, or I watch them while I do my meal planning. It's really odd. I like to just take my laptop downstairs, put it at the dining room table, and listen to a live while I'm doing my meal planning. I just kind of pick a cookbook. I've got a meal planning video on here. I pick a cookbook and do 3 or 4 recipes out of that cookbook for the week, and I just work out of that cookbook. And then the next week I pick a different cookbook, and then the next week I pick a different cookbook. So it's been really fun to just work my way through my cookbooks. I was doing, last night I'm working out of $10 dinners or something like that. What's her name? D. Arabian. I can't remember her first name. Her last name is D. Arabian. It's on the Food Network. $10 dinners or something like that. Yesterday we did a tortilla soup in the crock pot, which is why I couldn't film face to face, because I had a jalapeno issue with jalapeno in my eye from my hands. So my face, I looked like a swollen red mess yesterday. But that soup was super simple to put together. Popped it in the crock pot, a couple of chicken breasts, all the fixings, and it was a fantastic, easy supper last night that kind of soothed the soul. We try to have soup once a week. My husband adores soup. He would be happy if we had soup every night. There are some men that are meat and potatoes. There are some men that do pasta. He's a soup boy. So I try to limit it to once a week. And I try to do it towards the end of the week, because then we can kind of eat on it on the weekends a little bit. We're having leftover night tonight because I've cooked all week, so we need to kind of eat what's in the fridge. And then tomorrow, if the weather is nice, we may grill some steaks. I found some steaks on sale, so we may do those. But that soup last night. The restaurant that I used to work at was a little Mexican restaurant, and we ran out of college money. After I retired, I didn't realize college was going to be as expensive as it was. My daughter had just started her second year, and I was like, oh no, I'm not having her struggle through college or quit because of money. So I went to the restaurant she worked at and just went, hey, I've never done this before. I have a healthcare background, but I really don't want to go back into hospitals. If you show me what to do, I can work. I know how to work. So they hired me on the spot. I will continue to say they were the best employers I have ever had in my 25, 26 years that I was ever in hospitals. It was the hardest job, hands down, the hardest job I have ever done. If you're a server or in a restaurant, or even the hostess, because I was the hostess, it's the hardest job. Tip your wait staff, tip anybody that works in service. They deserve it. I would come home and just die. I would literally come home, take a Gatorade to the shower with me. Some people, you see these movies where people take a cold beer in the shower with them while they're taking a shower. I would take a Gatorade in the shower with me, and guzzle Gatorade and take a shower and just get the day off me. But it was the best Mexican restaurant. And they have since closed. They closed just a few months after I quit working. But they had a tortilla soup that was just, if you didn't feel good, you would go there and get a bowl of tortilla soup, a big handful of tortillas, and just try and feel better. You know, they'd put you off in a corner, little table by yourself, and you just sit there and slurp your soup. And this soup we had last night was the closest that I've had to that soup. And I made it in my dang crock pot. You know, I put it on at 2, by 6 it was done. Chopped up some cilantro, chopped up some green onion, some cheese, some sour cream, and I had tortilla chips. And it was so good. So, pardon, I've got a little throat thing going on. So that's definitely going to be a keeper. And I'm going to have to make sure I write notes so that when I flip it through that cookbook again, I will know that that is a definite keeper. So it was 2 chicken breasts, a quart of chicken stock, onions, a can of black beans. I almost added corn, which I probably could have added corn. It needed a little bit more. And then a can of rotel, a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of chili powder, salt and pepper, a jalapeno. I think that was it. And I put it in the crock pot, put the chicken in frozen, and then I just shredded the chicken when the time was up. You know, took it out, shredded it up, put it right back in the crock pot. Cilantro, green onion on top, cheese, tortilla chips, and it was fabulous. So, oh, that was the change. She called for water in her recipe. I just used straight chicken broth. I just used a box of chicken broth. And then I upped the amount of cumin because I like cumin. So instead of a half a teaspoon, I used a teaspoon. And it was so good. And I just cooked it on high for 3.5 hours. 3.5, 4 hours, and then it was served. But if you're going to do the jalapeno, wear gloves. Just trust me, I forgot. Wear gloves. Save the pain. We ended up having to do an eye wash on my eyes. We're almost done with this, and then I can do the other page, and then we can finish. Yep, I think tonight's leftover night. Okay, it's Friday night. I don't feel like cooking. I'm not feeling it. So I think tomorrow night we're going to do steaks on the grill, and then I have some new potatoes that I can boil, and then butter, salt, pepper, parsley. And then some green beans or something along that line. But the star will be the steaks. Since we've not been able to go out to eat very often. I love going out to eat. Mainly because I don't like cooking. It's hard. It's hard figuring out what you're going to eat every single night for the rest of your life. And it's hard when you're the one responsible for it every single night for the rest of your life. So, I enjoy eating out. Okay, so this is it on this page. So we're going to do the other page really quickly. And then we can finish it up. So there's, let me give you a close-up if I can get it, since you haven't really been able to see. Up to I am liking this live format. I still have, did I get it? Yeah. I still have probably 8 or 9 videos that I need to edit. But I'm liking this live format once a week of just sitting down. What is straight scrapbooking. If it takes me 2 or 3 hours, it takes me 2 or 3 hours. No edits. What you see is what you get. Live scrapbooking. I think I'm liking this format. So I may start doing this about once a week or so. I don't know what days, I don't know what times. It's going to be, giving my hand a break for a minute. It's going to be basically when my chores are done and I have a block of time and I can just play. Is about what it's going to be. So it'll be really hard for me to schedule live. So if you just happen to see that I'm live, join in, come play. If not, it'll always be on the replay. I did notice it takes about 24 hours to show up on the replay, so when I'm done with this video will show up tomorrow. Again, I'm not doing this to see how many people show up and converse. If you show up and converse in the chats, great, I love it, I'll talk to you. If you miss the live and you have to check the replay, that's good too. I'm okay. I'm doing this just to play. I don't make money doing this. I don't have sponsorships. I don't have enough subscribers to get monetized. This is just enjoyment for me. So, like I said, I've had my channel since 2011, and I have 700 subscribers, and I'm okay with that. So I'm not, if my channel grows, it grows. If it stays small, it stays small. I'm good. So I do this for just purely my enjoyment. And if you learn something out of it and you enjoy it, perfect. That just makes my heart smile. So I think that's why I wasn't a really good salesperson. I think I'm a great teacher when it comes to scrapbooking. I was not a good salesperson at all. I was my own best customer with close to my heart. But I much prefer sharing my scrapbooking to, hey, you want to buy supplies? So that's where, when I needed to take something off my plate, close to my heart was the thing that had to come off as far as being affiliated with them and being a consultant. Thankfully, I'm still able to play with my friends. The consultant that was my upline is now my consultant. I go to her crops, I go to her retreats, I see her all the time, we converse all the time. So I don't feel like I have lost friends. I still see other consultants that were friends of mine in their videos and in their Facebook lives and stuff. So I still have the community of women that I had before. The only thing that I really don't get to do is I don't know when things come out before they come out. Like, I don't know the new colors yet, which is killing me. And I don't get to go to convention. And I think I'm okay with that. So, because it's also brought the enjoyment back. It got to where this was a job. My channel started out as a job. It started out with, let me show you the workshop. Let me show you the next pack of paper. Let me show you this, this new technique. Because I was trying to sell the supplies. And when it became a job, or more of a job, and I couldn't do my own personal scrapbooking because I didn't have time to do my own personal scrapbooking, then that just helped me make the decision. And now that I can do my own personal scrapbooking, this is pure fun. So I have the utmost respect for my consultant sisters, which I still call them consultant sisters. They work hard. Having a home-based business is not easy. You are always working 2, 3, 4 months in advance of trying to get product examples done and trying to get product in to show. And a lot of times if your customers don't buy from you, you are in the hole sometimes. And that's where I had to learn, okay, if it's not a product I'm personally going to use, I'm not going to buy it, because I would get, I would buy something to teach, and it wasn't my favorite item, and then I still had it when I was done teaching, so I was like, So, these ladies work really hard, and they're creative in their own right. I've seen scrapbooks at convention go for $1,000, $1,200 of an auction, and these ladies, their work is so much better than mine. I play with sketches. I follow the bare bones of what somebody else has done, and then I embellish it how I want to embellish it. These ladies are thinking out of the box, and I don't have a pinky's worth of their talents, but I still enjoy playing with paper. So, thankfully there are people that are more talented than me that can make a sketch. And then I can turn that sketch upside down, inside out, and sideways to get the layout that I want, but the sketch gives me the bare bones. It's a diving board per se. So, hopefully you guys can see. I'm trying to stay in frame for you. I normally would stick this in my lap and stitch it, but pretty sure you don't want the camera in my lap while I'm stitching. That wouldn't be a good angle for you. So yeah, I'm missing not knowing what the colors are. And I'm a frog hair from asking Janine. But I also don't want to abuse that friendship of, hey, I know you're, I know you know that I used to be a consultant because I was your consultant. You want to tell me what those new colors are? I don't want to abuse that friendship. But on the other hand, I'm like, hey, somebody tell me what the new colors are. So, I did have a consultant friend call me right after convention, and I did ask her how many colors. I wouldn't let her. It's still going? Yes, it is still going. Okay. My computer just did something really weird. I had to stop and look at it. I didn't want to ask her the colors, and I told her, I said, I'm not asking the colors. I just need to know how many. Because I dreamed, and I may have mentioned this in another video, I dreamed the night before actually, that they did a full palette color change. All 40 colors. And all I could think of is, how am I going to buy all those? Because the one thing I've carried with me from being a consultant is I have to have the colors when they come out. I'm not one of these people that can buy sangria one month and toffee the next month and baby pink after that. I have to get all my colors at one time. So I have to get all the cardstock, all the re-inkers, all the stamp pads in one order. And so that's why it's always a massive order at color changes. And thankfully my husband just pats me on the head. He knows I'm going to do it. He knows it's going to happen. And that just stems from being a consultant. I needed to, they would sell it in bundles. So the consultants get a discount if they buy all the colors in a bundle. And they would get everything, it'd be shipped to them from convention. And I just got in that mindset, and I haven't been able to break that mindset. Now my best friend, she orders one color at a time. And I'm just like, oh, that would kill me. Oh, that would just... She does it, and it works well for her. Sorry, I had to stretch. And I've even tried, like when I buy a paper pack, I look at the colors in the paper pack and then go, okay, what color do I not have out of this paper pack? And then order it. And I can't do it that way either. So I just have to order all the cardstock, all the re-inkers, and all the ink pads at one time. And then when they come in, I've got them. So, and they all get used. It's, there's nothing that sits, well, I lie. Hold on. The only color that I ever bought that sat and never got used, and I think I was not the only consultant, was taffy. It was the oddest color. It was flesh tone. It was the oddest color, and they finally took it out of the palette, and all of us were like, oh, thank God. Because it was one we never used. It sat there and gathered dust. And you can tell really easily what colors you use and what colors you don't use. But if you go to get it and there's a layer of dust on your top sheet, you don't use that color. So, and thankfully, I've got covers on mine. I've got one sheet of paper slipped down into a page protector on mine, mainly for, I've got animals, so mainly mine, I get a lot of animal hair blowing around in my room, and little feet. I don't want them walking on my paper. So when I switched over to, it's not so much in the colors that are down in the rack, but the colors that are on the top layer of my rack, you can see it behind me. That's the ones they would walk on. And you can see feet print, and I don't want feet print on my papers. So when I was watching the video, Scrap Some Joy, Craft Some Joy, something like that. She's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she uses record sleeves, and she puts one down in the, one piece of cardstock down in the sleeve and then labels it. And I was like, ooh. So I went through and did all mine that way. So now if the kitty does get up on the paper, they're leaving feet print on the plastic and not on the paper. So I like that idea. But you can very easily tell which colors you're using, which ones you're not using, because they get a dust layer. So when we're working with paper, it's not that our homes are dirty, it's paper generates dust. You have paper dust. That's why when you're working with a lot of paper, or say you're tearing down notebooks or whatnot, you feel like you have to sneeze, that's paper dust. So it's just, it happens in our rooms. There's no way to get around it. If we have paper, we're going to have paper dust. So puddles. There must be a package drop off. I just heard something at the front door. Let me text Mikey real fast. She'll let her out when he comes down for lunch. I let her out before I came up, but she might need to go again. And he's about to take lunch, so. But I'm not done with this, so I'm not going to stop the live until I'm done with this. I can eat afterwards. That's not a problem. And poor thing, we're not used to having dogs anymore. So we're used to having cats. You don't have to let cats out. So poor thing, she's gotten to where she's had to bark to remind us to take her out. We had a pug. We had him for 16 years, and the little guy finally, he passed away. He was 16. Pugs last 12 to 14 years. And he was 16 when he passed away, so we just have not ever gotten another dog because there's no replacing him. He was the best of little dogs, and I'm just not ready to get another one yet. But we do have cats. Hence. So. Are you needing some time? Are you getting snuggly? Or do you want under the lights because you're cold? You want to warm up? My husband has studio lights in his office all day long because he does video conferencing all day long. And he likes to get up under those lights and stay warm. But I'm surprised he's not under my laptop yet. So. I'll tell you, his manners as far as thread is concerned has been commendable. There is no way biscuits could sit on my desk while I'm doing this. There's no way biscuits would allow me to do this with him sitting on my desk. What are you doing? Oh, he's gonna go look out the window. So we are going to IKEA on Saturday to pick up the rest of the furniture for my new studio. If you are a longtime subscriber, you probably know that I have been talking about a new studio for about 2 years now. And my husband has finally completed the projects that needed to be done for work. One of them writing a book, and the book has been published. The other one is he is a author for a company called Pluralsight, and he produces courses for them. Honey, hold on, somebody is needing a moment. We have to take a kitten break. Come here. Come here. This is when you know when he gets floppy. So he does courses for them, so he needed to get the book written, and then he needed to put out a couple of courses for Pluralsight, and both of those have been done. The book was a bucket list for him, so I had no problem putting my room on the back burner for him to finish a bucket list item, a dream item. So now that these projects are finished, he needs to do some touch-up painting, because all he was able to do before the book came through was paint. So he's going to do some touch-up on the paint because he accidentally painted the ceiling with the spray gun. And then he wants to build a new desk. He built the desk that I'm currently using, and it's been the only desk that I've had. Well, no, it isn't. The other desk that I had was a fabric table while he was thinking of the design on this one. So this has been the only crafting desk or true desk that I've had. I've had a fabric table that I used for a little while when we figured out, you know, do I really want to keep doing this? Do I not want to do this? You know, when we figured out that I really wanted to be a scrapper, then he built me a desk. So he built this desk. He wants to build another one because the room is much bigger, and my desk, the way I want to do it, I want it to be much bigger. So he's going to build the desk, and then I have an island that's going to be built with IKEA Calyx units. Put a top on that so that I have an island, and the island is going to be paper storage. One side cardstock, one side pattern paper, and then a filming station, my bookshelf, which is the black bookshelf right there somewhere behind me, and then my regular gear that I have. I have the container store shelving, and when I flipped this room, so like back where see the bulletin board up there behind me, that's where this desk used to be. And then when I started filming a lot, I flipped my desk so that I could take advantage of the light at the window. I've got one window, and I couldn't film very well on the other side of the room because the lighting was bad. So in the new room, when I flipped this desk, I lost a lot of space. I lost a lot of wall space and stuff. So I'll be able to bring my refrigerator back in. I'll be able to bring my cutting station back in. I'll be able to set up my Big Shot, and just the things that I missed having in my room that I don't have now because they are where my desk is now sitting. Does that make sense? So once he gets the desk built, which we have a design, we know what we want to do, and get it placed in the room. And if you're asking why this one can't go in there, it was built in this room. We cannot get it out. The way that it is built, it cannot be disassembled and moved. So we knew when I changed rooms, he would have to build me a new desk, which has been the sticking point. Build the desk and then also help me pull all this shelving down, and then we move it and we attach it to the wall. So I think once the desk gets built, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So we're going to go tomorrow. I need one more calyx unit. I need another 2x4 calyx unit. The one behind me with the black drawers is going to go to my daughter. That is a Target version. It has served me well for many, many years. That I would like all of my furniture to be able to accommodate 12 by 12. So I want all my furniture to be able to accommodate any supply that I throw at it. So that's why I'm going to pick up a third calyx, so that when I get the feeling of I need to move something around, I've got the flexibility with furniture that is all the same size, that I can do what I want to do and move things around the way that I want to move it around. So we're going to go get some legs, some tabletops, a calyx unit, possibly a curtain rod because I'm still missing a curtain rod, and drawers. I wanted to get the drawer units. So I'm buying four drawer units, and it will take the place of the black bins behind me. So instead of having ephemera in the bins, I'll have ephemera in, or ephemera. All the ticket stubs and stuff, one drawer will be 1 year, and I'll explain that when I get into the room. So instead of having the bins, I'll have the drawers, and it'll be a more uniform look. So I think before I start this, I'm going to take another quick break. So you guys take a quick break. I will be right back. If anybody comes into the chat and doesn't know where I am, I'll be right back. I'm going to just step down the hall for just a moment. I don't know what she's talking about. kitties left the room, so we won't be interrupted by kitties. So I've got one more little line to do and then we can finish up. So anyway, I'm excited for the new studio. It has been couple years in the, actually it's been 5 years in the planning. I did not want to work on the studio while my daughter was in college because I hate when kids move out to go to school. And this might be judgmental of me, and I'm sorry if it is, but I hate when kids move out to go to school and parents immediately do something with their rooms. I don't know, I wanted my daughter to feel like she still had a home to come home to. She still had her room, she still had her bed. So it was only when she moved into her own apartment that she actually told me, Mom, I have my own apartment, I'm a big girl now, I'm going to, build your room, build your studio, because I had been waiting for her to get out of college, get her big girl apartment, and officially move out of my house. I didn't want to, I didn't want her to feel like I was kicking her out of my house before she was ready. And there's going to be some people that disagree with that, and that's fine. But as far as I was concerned, she was going to school, she was working, she was being a responsible adult, but yet she was still living in dorms. She was living with her grandparents for a while because she didn't like being in the dorms, but yet she didn't feel like she could be in an apartment yet. And her grandparents were closer than we were. They were very much closer to school than we were. So she lived with them for a little while until she felt more able to afford an apartment on her own, because she didn't want us paying for her apartment. She didn't want us paying for her rent. She wanted to do that on her own. So I didn't want her to feel like I was kicking her out of her home so that I could get a new studio space. So, me and her dreamed about this for years of, what will we do when it's my studio space type thing. So when she finally was like, okay, look, I've got my own apartment, I'm a big girl, I've got this, I'm officially moved out of your house, build your studio. And that was 2 years ago, because she got her own apartment the beginning of her senior year of school. Which I really didn't want her to do. I wanted her to focus on school. Didn't want her to have to worry about bills and electric and rent, and while she was in school, I wanted her to focus on school and enjoy her time in school, because I'm sorry, when you start adulting, you have to adult for the rest of your life. There's no getting around it. You're it. This is your life. And I wanted her to enjoy college, because after that, adulting is adulting, But she wanted to get a job and have her own apartment and stuff. And finally, when she was a senior, she convinced me, okay, I'm a senior, it's time. And I finally conceded. I was like, all right, fine. If you're ready to be an adult, be an adult. So that's when we started with the painting and getting room ready and repairing walls. And then his book deal came in. So when his book deal came in, it was a no-brainer. Put everything on hold. Camping went on hold. Studio went on hold. Everything went on hold. He literally wrote the book for a year. And then when the book was finished, which the book was finished in May, I think it was just May, then he finished the book literally the next day. His editor called him from Pluralsight and wanted him to do a course, and they needed it done quickly. So he had 1 day between projects. And he still has a full-time job. He has a daytime job. So he literally had 1 day he could play video games and just relax. And then he was starting the new project. So last night, I don't know if he's knocking. I don't know if he's knocking on the door or not. Or it could be the cats playing at the door. So last night, when he finished the Pluralsight course, and he finished his day of work, and he came downstairs for dinner, and I was like, do you have anything that you have to do this evening? And he was like, no. I said, okay, you need to go play a video game. You need to, you know, go in your office, put your headphones on, and play a video game. Why is it turning red? I don't know why it's turning red. Oh well, we'll keep going. If it stops streaming, thank you for joining me. If it keeps streaming, stay with me. So anyway, so he went in his office last night, and he put on a video game, and he just zoned out. And he came downstairs, and as he put it, his brain was mush. And I was like, all right, mission accomplished, you know. Your brain is mush. You did everything I wanted you to do. I needed you to mush your brain and not think and not have the next idea going. You needed to just relax. So that made me feel good. So Saturday after our haircuts, we're going to go to IKEA and purchase the last little bit of furniture. We already have most of it. And of course 90% of this room. The only thing in this room not moving is the desk. Well, and the college thingy-majiggy. And the faux calic behind me that's going to my daughter. But everything else is making the move in the room. So we have almost everything. And we really wouldn't have to go to IKEA except to get the table legs, the tabletop that I need for the island, and then I added the new calics. Because I got to thinking, while we're doing this, we might as well make all the furniture functional together. So, while it's all available, because like the Expedit, you can't find the Expedit anymore. You have to build the Expedit. So I figured while it's all, we know it's available, get all the furniture together and just be done with it. So I think once the desk is built, the rest of it's going to happen pretty quickly. So, and then I will do a room tour, and you guys will be able to see the new room. Pardon me for a moment, there is something in my eyeball. And I'm hesitant to stick my finger in my eye because of yesterday. Okay. Nope, that didn't do it. Okay, let's try that. Okay. So I'm excited for everything that's going to be happening. I'm excited to do a new room tour when it's finished. I'm excited to have a new view out my window because right now I see a tree and a roof. That's it. Every now and then there might be a squirrel walk by on that roof over there, but that's my view, and that's been my view since 2002. Sometimes I haven't had a view, sometimes I've put my paper racks in front of the window. And then the emergency preparedness in me freaks out because the window's blocked. And so I have to move that back out and have the window available. So it will be nice to have a nice large window, have plenty of natural lighting, and space. Now the one thing is the closet in that room is smaller than this closet. So we're going to have to rethink some things that I keep in the closet. And then this closet, because this room's going to get turned into a guest room. Believe it or not, I have 5 bedrooms in this house. I do not have a guest room. we have our master bedroom, my husband's office, my office, the room that's going to be the studio, and then my mom lives with us. She lives downstairs. We have one bedroom downstairs, so she lives downstairs. And at the current moment, we have no guest room. So when the studio gets built, everything moves over there. This will be the guest room. And then the closet in this room, I'm going to put all of my vendor fair, craft fair gear in this closet, and then just put a lock on it and lock the door. And I have an armoire that I'm going to put in this room that I'm going to turn into a closet for guests. I don't get a lot of guests, so I'm not real concerned with having a lot of closet space. I don't get a lot of guests. I don't get a lot of guests that stay multiple nights. So they just need enough space to hang up a shirt, pair of jeans, something like that. Just, you know, so their clothes aren't living in a suitcase. And a friend of mine was getting rid of her TV armoire that had doors on it, and I went, that will work. So we're going to put a closet rod in it. It's got 2 deep drawers that I can use for extra bedding and extra pillows. So a bed in here, the armoire, a nightstand, maybe a chair, and a couple of hooks, because that's the one that drives me crazy in hotel rooms. There's no hooks. You've got nowhere to hang a jacket, a hat, a purse. You've got nowhere to hang anything up. So, you know, a couple of hooks, and, you know, make it cozy. So, and then I have a guest room. This was supposed to always be the guest room. I wanted this to be the guest room, and then one of my mother-in-laws, I have 2, is biological mother, stepmother. So one of my mother-in-laws came for a visit, and she wasn't happy where the guest room was. And I looked over, and there's a bed coming down my stairs. I was in the kitchen cooking, and there's a bed coming down my stairs, and she wanted the guest room to be downstairs. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. So she made the guest room downstairs into a guest room. I had other plans for that room, but it worked out. It was fine. So when I didn't have guests in that room, it became the cat room. So it had a bed, a nightstand, a closet, and all the stuff cats need, litter box, food, that type of thing. So that's when we had Callie. And when my mom moved in, Callie was quite confused why there was a human in her room, because nobody had ever been in her room. You know, why was there suddenly somebody living in her room? So for a while, when Mom first moved in, and Mom's been here for 5 years now, they had a battle for the bedroom between the 2 of them. So, yeah, because Kayla moved out to go to college, Mom moved in same weekend. So 2015 is when everybody moved out and moved in at the same time. We're almost done with the stitching, guys. Just hang in there. We're good. And we'll get back to the fun part as I get a knot in my thread. So it will be nice to have a guest room again. Right now we have a twin-size bed in the game room, just out in the open. It's made. I mean, if somebody has to spend the night, there's a bed there. But that room is also being storage at the moment for things that don't fit in this room that I've rearranged. But I don't want to give them away yet because I might be able to reincorporate them in the new studio. So it is truly a junk room at the moment because it's got, it's kind of scary in there. I'll be glad when things get situated to get back where they belong. and I can sort through what's needed, what's not needed, what's being used, what's not being used, put things away, and then I can give away what I'm truly not using. So I will probably keep one of my paper racks. You see my paper racks, I have 3. I'll probably keep one of them and just put it in the closet in case I need it for something, because you just can't find them. And then I'll probably sell the other 2. So if Mary Catherine is watching this and you're still interested, I will get a hold of you and see if you're still interested in 1 paper rack or 2. So I don't know if she's gone back to work now, so she may not have the energy to watch videos. She is a kick-ass nurse that has been off work for a little while, dealing with a few issues of her own. And she's been able to go back to work, so she has gone back to work. So she may not have the energy to keep her eyes open on her day off and watch scrapbooking videos. But if she is, if you're watching, then hello. I am very glad you're back to work. I'm glad you're back to being Mary Catherine. You understand what I'm saying. And I'll contact you about paper racks if you're still interested. So I will have to say, out of all the years I worked in healthcare and in ERs, I've worked in 2 or 3 different ERs as an employee in the area. And then I was also contract, so I worked in many more in the area. But man, I have met some kick-ass nurses in my time, and several that if I was in jeopardy, I would want them working on me. A couple of doctors I wouldn't want. Thankfully, very few doctors that I'd be like, no, not him. I think 2 out of all the doctors that I have ever worked with, I think there's only 2 that I would ask for a different doctor if I saw them. But oh my goodness, the nurses I have met that are just, pardon me for swearing, but kick-ass nurses. So you know who you are, because I've told you to your face. Many of you I have told you to your face. Thank you for the years of answering stupid questions and listening to little rants from your unit secretary. I cherish the friendships that I have with each and every one of you. So, several of them are scrapbookers, which is where they could be watching, they could not be watching, I don't know. But if you are, thank you. So, and like I was saying to a friend of mine, through my years of working in ERs and whatnot, I talked to Amy, I said basically the only thing I have not been exposed to is Ebola and this, the whole COVID situation, because I retired literally just before the Ebola outbreak. And I will tell you on that one, I was very thankful to not be in the emergency room anymore. I actually breathed a sigh of relief over that one, because we had a case here locally, but and COVID, that's about the only thing that's come through. I've worked through every other illness, pandemic that's come through. Of course, there's never been anything quite like COVID. COVID is its own little monster. But I joke that, you know, we've lived through everything together. So stay safe, keep doing what you're doing, you know. Pardon. But I'm thankful to not be, I miss my people, but I'm thankful I'm not in the emergency room anymore. I miss the employees, I miss the people, I don't miss the job. Does that make sense? So, I'm much happier being a spoiled brat. And I definitely am a spoiled brat. So, just about finished. If I could quit going on tangents, I would be doing faster, right? But this is part of the enjoyment. This is, you know, part of why I scrapbook. I will say eventually Mike and I will end up in DC at the same time together. We have both been to DC, but never together. I went with my sister-in-law. That's where these pictures are coming from. With my sister-in-law and her family. And my husband's gone a couple of times for business trips. So I would like us to go together. And one day it will happen. If you have never had a chance to visit DC, I will say I was very, very impressed with everything they have to offer for a tourist. I definitely want to go back. We didn't have enough time. We didn't, you know, there's some things that I would have liked to have seen that we didn't have enough time. Of course, we're traveling as a family. There's children. At the time, they were both in swim, so they were hungry about every 2 hours or so. So we were constantly having to stop and feed them, which in itself, we had some great meals. Oh my goodness, we had some really good meals. But there's some attractions that I would like to go back and spend some more time with. And then I was also, I had a hard time walking. There was, you know, it's a walking town, so you do a lot of walking. And thankfully the museums and stuff had wheelchairs. So I would get a wheelchair and they would push me around the museum. Or if it hadn't been for that, I probably would not have been able to go with them a lot. My poor nephew at one point I leaned on him a lot. Let's just put it that way. That's the best way I can describe it. He helped keep me in motion. That's the best way of putting it. Because it's an old town, there's a lot of uneven walkways, brick roads, and that is just a prime tripping hazard for me. And I can trip over my own big toe. That's no, I mean, if it's something I can trip over, I can trip over it. And he just helped keep me balanced and help me stay focused on what I needed to focus on so that I wouldn't fall down. And then when we could, we got me a wheelchair and just everybody took turns pushing the chair so that I could see the sights too. But I definitely want to go back because I was so impressed with that town and what it has to offer as far as history, museums, monuments, things to see, things to learn, things to do. So definitely want to go back. Just about done. We're like right there, almost done. I need to add some more tape right here. I don't have enough tape right there. Finger, poked myself. Ouch. Okay. Last stitch. We did it! Yay! Okay, I'm going to put this underneath real fast. I'll put it away in a minute. I'm just hiding it in case the kitties come in. I try to put sharp things away immediately so nobody steps on them or tries to eat them. Kind of have to think like a 2-year-old when you've got pets, don't you? How would I keep my 2-year-old safe? Okay, so I need to put extra tape here to hold that down. Okay, I just have a vase, another flower vase full of double-sided sticky tape, and I just keep my scissors point down since the locking mechanism is broken. So I just keep them right in there, point down so the cats don't get into them. trim my journaling really quickly. My trimmer is in a keyboard tray down here. The arm won't open completely, but it's enough to do some small trimming. So okay, so that goes there. These go here, so I don't forget about them. Let's do the title really quickly. And then I put that there so I don't spell a word wrong. Excuse me, pardon me. So this is the Thicker's Escape to Paradise font. And again, I bought these at Tuesday morning. I don't like getting them at Michael's because in my opinion they're overpriced. So I would always get them at Tuesday morning. But now that all my Tuesday mornings are closed, I bought the alphabet thin cuts from Close to My Heart so that I can start making my own titles. And to me, this is always the longest part when you're trying to get everything centered and lined up. And is there truly one V? And this, oh, there's two. Okay. Well, who dropped the ball on that? And I would always buy 2 sets, which is the other reason why I liked buying them with Tuesday morning, because it was basically 2 for 1. Okay. See, this is where the magnets come in handy, because I'm able to hold my layout down while I'm working. And if you're wondering, this font is part uppercase, part lowercase. It's not, I'm not choosing lowercase. Pardon me, I'm not choosing lowercase over uppercase. It's just the way this font is. See? I just got a text from my best friend. She's watching me stream. I need a G. She's gonna cause me to misspell something. She is my spelling person. She will always look at my layouts for something that I misspelled. She's done it for years, and then I have to go back and fix it because she's the reason I carry a thesaurus around. She's the reason I have all the paper. But that is just a hazard of her job. She's not doing it to be mean. I need an O. Oh, come on. There you go. Come on off. There you go. Be a good little T. E and then an N. I can't hold a conversation and spell at the same time. Sorry. It does not work. Tweezers away before I poke myself. There's away in just a moment. Alright, so now we're going to take our magnets up. Haha, it worked. Okay. Those are vellum pieces. I'm okay with stapling. I am so over fighting vellum. It is just not even worth it anymore. Oh, there it is. Where's mine? When you move your supplies to keep the cats from chewing on them, and then you forget where you moved them. It won't take long for that to dry. I have a little index card that my daughter wrote me when she was little that just says happy birthday. And it's the perfect size to hide my little stitching container that I keep on my desk from the cats. Because if not, they would be eating it. So. Okay, so I know we need something here, something else, but I don't have that at the moment. So I'm not going to stress over it. That's another item that an embellishment might come to be that I don't have yet. It's not in existence yet. That when I find it, I'm going to go, hey, that will go perfect with type thing. So I'm going to leave this alone because if I jack with it anymore, I'm not going to like the way it comes out. So I realize I need something down here in the front to finish making a cluster. Totally got that. So let me hold this up so you can see some of the details. Not any details on the bottom, it's just regular photographs. And then this side. So there we go. I gotta figure out how to move that picture onto the other side because I work on this side and that picture-in-picture is, I feel like it's in the way. So anyway, this is the layout that we've been working on. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know there's 112 different things that you could be doing, and I am very, very thankful that you choose to spend almost 3 hours with me. Until next time, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.